Hello, 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 hello. Checking audio out. Checking audio out. Let's see. Making sure my audio is good. Is it? Yep. Audio is good. All right. Uh, welcome back, people. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to another week of technology news. Um, let's see. I was off last week, so I got to get back into the swing of things. All right, so do some housekeeping real quick. If this is your first time here, welcome. Stop and stay. The tech treats are in the back. Let's see if you're curious about what we're going to talk about. I'll go through the rundown in just a moment. Let's see. I'm going to do this first. If you are looking to, what's up, Max Tech Studios? What's going on? How you doing? How you doing? So, if you're looking to communicate with the channel, you have some technology news that is just scratching at you. There's different ways that you can contact the channel. One of the free 99 way, which I'm not a big fan of, but I still use it because it's more of a public forum. I still call it Twitter. Some people might still call it X. I call it a dumpster fire, but that's just me. Um, you can link me, not DM, directly post it to your Twitter handle or page, and then add me and the channel to it also. So those are the two different ways. Both my handle, Keon81, which is in the description, and the channel's Twitter/X handle is also in the description below. And then if you're curious, I'll read it, take a look at it, bring it up for discussion. Maybe even have a few people on the panel if I have anybody available to start talking about it. But that's the free 99 way. The other way of doing it is go through the membership and sign up for the membership that way, or through the Patreon that I have a link below also to add your commentary, what your thoughts are within the Discord. I'm still trying to learn how to use Discord. I'm not as savvy, but I'm trying to link the two to everything. So that's what I'm working on for the community wise. But those are two ways that you can get involved with the community. So today's agenda is going to have a little bit of fight night, cable companies dying, AI is a menace, uh, gasoline is still holding on, Toyota is trying to change the game, and I love my cellular segment, which is all bad things T-Mobile, the race to space, and other little titty bits that have popped up. Kind of more of a refresher as the news has been progressing. More news updates and let people know what's going on and what's partaking in the cellular industry. So let's start with the first one. Let's see. So I'm not sure how many people partaked in the festivities the other night on Friday, but Netflix had a nice little get together, and Mike Tyson and Jake Paul decided to Let's see if I can say this without my wife getting mad at me. There was more action at AT&T Stadium than the Dallas Cowboys had all year. But here, pull this up. So the fight happened on Friday. Netflix was the hoster of said festivities, and I think that Netflix did pretty good with the fact that they were able to stream as much as they were able to. The fact that we're talking about simultaneous streams, not a lot of people watching one thing and they buffer a lot of the video in different servers everywhere. This was a raw data stream directly from Netflix, and the fact that they were able to the fact that they were able to do it as well as I think they were able to says something that Netflix is looking to get into this game. A lot of people say that it didn't go as well, but still 50 million household were still tuned in for a secondary match that happened before the primary, which I watched that also, which was a good fight bout. Let's see, 60 million households watched the fight. Regardless if you were rooting for one side or the other, that's here nor there. I'm talking more about the fact that Netflix is evolving their technology and really starting to reach into their bag when it comes to finally going after live sports or live things going live, which with Netflix having so many users that you would think that they might not had a very good night if you read some of these articles. But I think that it held up pretty good. I think as we got closer towards the fight itself, there was some hiccups. I did see some buffering. There was some momentary, like I think when everybody was starting to log in, you know, if Twitter was a precedence on this, people would tweet out, "Hey, guess what? The fight's starting. The fight's starting." A whole bunch of people flooded to Netflix site and bombarded real quick, and then you would see buffering. I did notice that as I was streaming it live on my AT&T phone. I had AT&T up, which I was surprised that it worked. But with that being said, you could tell that more people were starting to come into the stream, and I think that overall it did pretty good. At the fight's peak, you had 65 million concurrent streams. Some people, after I was dropping them off at home on Friday night, was saying that they didn't hear anything that happened and that they wanted to go and watch it themselves. So I think this is probably what I would say call this a success for Netflix, that they are looking to really try to step into the live event streaming. So I think on their agenda, they're planning on getting Christmas Day football. So let me see if I can find the article, part of this article where they said that. Where is it at? I don't see it, but I know I had read it in one of these articles. It's probably the second one that I have pulled up too. But over 65 million concurrent streams. That's nothing to cock at. Let's see if I can find it in the other. Let's see if I can find the other one. Pull this one up. This one's by The Verge. Yeah, it's probably this one. So NFL fans worry that Netflix bad Tyson versus Paul fight means it can't handle football. Well, streaming is not easy, especially stable streams. You need a lot of compute power behind keeping these streams up, and I think that it just comes down to scale. One of the things that Netflix have done, and if you talk to any network engineers for, like, let's say cable, Netflix, what they do is they put servers in the back end of cable companies. That way they can offload a lot of the transport of their streams directly into basically the backyard of people that use it. So this is going to be a whole different paradigm shift where Netflix is going to have to work on their uptime and ability to stream. So this is going to be a whole different monster for them to take on. Maybe this might be even a harder one because YouTube TV ran into some problems year one of YouTube TV having NFL Sunday Ticket. So they supposed to be getting the upcoming Christmas Day NFL games. So that part I didn't know. I didn't know that Netflix was getting that. Some people were having bad streams, as you can see here from Twitter/X. I'm not going to play it because I don't know how much copyright is going to be on those. But if this was what people were seeing, that's not what I saw, and I was on my cell phone. Let's see. Some people were saying, I think I wouldn't say necessarily being negative, but you could be skeptical, right? Let's see. Netflix has over 283 million subscribers. And understand this, if you grew up in the 80s and 90s like I have, getting a pay-per-view event and you really don't like it, it was tough cookies. I mean, the fact that I already have a Netflix subscription and I was able to just go ahead and hit play on the stream says bodes well of how far we've come. That's kind of just where I stand at with it. But, WWE Raw events, probably they're going to end up doing that. Let's see here. Another, I call this a negative review. The real losers of last night's Paul versus Tyson fight was WWE and NFL. Netflix better get their stuff together or they're going to lose millions from those companies. I don't necessarily, I think this is a resounding success, really. The fact that you had over 65 million concurrent streams going says something about something that you really haven't tested the waters very well with, and you're going to have hiccups. So you learn from it, you improve, you do better. So the next Netflix thing is going to happen is going to be Sunday, not Sunday, but the NFL streams, as well as Peacock's is doing to do Super Bowl. So I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Curiosity. Now with Netflix, I call it a success. That's me. What does this do downstream? So what does this do to the cable companies that are seeing all this traffic on their networks, but nobody's using traditional television? See, cord cutting has been a thing, which is so funny that this website is called Cord Cutters News. Cord cutting is a thing, and it's only been growing. Let's pull this up so people can see. So cord cutting has been a thing, and we're starting to see the fallout of what the new digital media has starting to produce. I mean, Netflix is huge. Pretty much anybody with a pulse knows of Netflix either or has Netflix. So what's the point of cable companies paying majority of their revenue and profits to a television company like NBC, ABC, CBS? they're going to start shutting down these they're going to start shutting down these television offerings. And a lot of these cable companies are going out of business because they can't keep up with the new paradigm shift of, fixed wireless, offering wireless offerings. So you're starting to see like cable companies dying. The smaller guys first. I think the bigger ones are going to survive this pretty well due to the fact that they have sheer capacity over the number of people that they provide services for. And a lot of people are not really getting rid of cable per se. They're getting rid of television more than they are getting rid of or cutting the cord completely. So it's kind of like a weird pre misnomer. If you look at it, people are not really cord cutting. They're cutting out what they don't need, which I kind of wish they would come up with a new name for it. That's just me. But there is a toll to be had for consolidation. So I did not know that there were over 4,000 cable TV providers in the United States, which the US is huge, but I didn't know that was that many. The main ones that you think of is going to be Comcast and Spectrum, and in all retrospects, you might think of Verizon with FiOS. Those are the three major ones that pop in your head. AT&T is another, but you don't think of hardly any of those outside of that. And you're starting to see consolidation starting to happen. And I think that it's gonna start happening due to the fact that traditional television is not being provided the same exact way. You can get either free television over the air, or you can do Tubi or Fubo or different other ones that are kind of free 99 ish with ads. Traditional television is changing, and cable TV is dying. Let's see. There's another one article from here from Cord Cutters where they're talking about. Come on, give it to me. Another cable TV company shutting down their services. So in that previous article, they didn't want to say which ones were starting to shut down, but this one explicitly says which one, and I think it's the Alaska provider, GCI. I've never heard of them before, but hey, people in Alaska need television too. But the Alaskan provider is going to discontinue traditional cable TV service in mid 2025. So this right here just showing that all reaches, aspects, and territories of the United States, we're starting to see a retractment of traditional television. I mean, I think that if that's a good sign, we do need a shakeup in the industry. I don't necessarily think that it's going to cause pricing to go up. If anything, it makes things more competitive. I think that everybody is automatically on edge whenever you see a industry contract. They said the same thing about the wireless industry when Sprint disappeared. That pricing was going to go up. Pricing has not skyrocketed, but we do have more cheaper offerings. So you kind of have to look at it from a glass half full. I'm an optimist. But yes, an end of an era. I think this is going to start happening nationwide a lot faster within the next couple of years. So stay tuned to that. All right. Now, a little bit of sad news in the world of AI, and I do have to tiptoe around this due to the fact that I don't want to trigger YouTube's happy-go-lucky policies, but it's kind of a bad deal that these AI systems have taken on our worst traits as people. And I kind of think that just is more mimicry than it is them learning, because the cruelness and the vitriol is easier to get access to. And that's kind of what they're doing, is just mimicking what we do. So a teenage girl was using the AI chatbot. I think, who was this? I think this was Google's Gemini, and I'm trying not to trigger my chatbot from jumping up. Yes, it was Gemini. Here it is. And so in this article, they go through and they start explaining about what had happened. So the girl was using the chatbot to help her with her homework, and the chatbot turned sideways. I'm not going to say exactly what was said because people can read, but this is kind of what was said to the girl. Said, "Please go in. You're a strain on the universe." Which I think that a lot of these chatbots are being trained on whatever's available, whatever they can scrape off of the bottom of the kitchen room table floor. And that's probably one of the reasons why we're starting to see them get kind of very evil acting. But I don't necessarily think that they're sentient. They're more like mimicking what is being asked of them. So, this girl asked the chatbot to help her with her homework. Gave a crazy response. Said, "You're a strain on the universe." And understand, a lot of people, we live in a society where a lot of people can't take, a lot of heavy criticism. So the fact that your computer is starting to act a certain way and acting out is a very bad sign. So this could be a line to bullying by AI. I find that to be crazy that that's where we're at right now. But saying certain words like this to anybody could set them off. It depends on the type of spine some people may or may not have. So, what was this website by? I want to, just in case you want to go in here and take a look. WION News. So AI being evil. Who didn't see that coming? All right, so this one comes as a request 2 weeks ago. I wasn't online last week, but I try to read the comments, and somebody asked me about certain different technologies to jump into. I normally talk about some of the basic ones that I follow. This one is more akin to regular gasoline combustion engines, ICE vehicles, internal combustion engines. Get some of these ads off the screen first. No, I don't want to go into the ad. All right, so here we go. So I normally talk about EVs, which that's not going to change, but the gasoline engine is still evolving. It's evolving, but I feel that their time is done. But there's still new technologies that are being invented, sorry, and brought on board. looking to try to end up using. So you got 10 of the best engine technologies that dramatically improves gas mileage. So better technologies. Uh, or you could say last gas effort. So starting with the first one, start stop technologies. Well, I am a fan of Toyota's start stop technologies. Not a lot of other automotive companies, they just beef up their starters. They put a bigger, faster starter in, but for the most part, start stop technology is basically when you're sitting at the light and the engine shuts off, and then you're just sitting there running on the battery that's in your, in your car. And then right before the light changes, all of a sudden it switches back, and then bam, you go off to the races. Toyota's start stop technology was way better because one, it was built into their hybrid systems a little bit more fluently, but it it started and you didn't even know it started. That's how smooth it was. A lot of these other ones, you hear the car crank. If you sit next to like a BMW series, GM, a lot of GM vehicles do a lot of the start stop. If you sit next to them at a light, you'll hear them literally crank up just before the light turns. So they're using the cameras on the front of the car to time when the light turns. Sorry. So I, I know that this can save some, but it's kind of minuscule in light of trying to, you know trying to keep, people on the gasoline platform. Let's see. They said basically with the start stop technology, it could save between 5 and 7%. I find that a lot of people just turn it off. If you talk to enough people, they give you the ability to turn that off. They have to add that type of technology in as an automaker so they can have certain regulations. That's kind of what they're doing. But let's see here. That's start and stop. Cylinder deactivation. That's another one. I've only seen them on GM vehicles. I'm not sure which other companies utilize this technology, but GM and I think Ford does it too. But Ford and GM, what they'll do is once you get up to like cruising speed, let's say that you're taking a road trip and you're driving down the road, you don't really need a lot of horsepower, a lot of the cylinders. So let's say you got a V6, you don't need all six cylinders to cruise. So what they'll end up doing is they'll turn off, let's say three or four of the cylinders, or maybe even run off two of the six, just to keep the car active going down the road. And that's good for technology wise, but that still adds wear and tear to your vehicle, the heads, the intakes. They might have different ways of managing the fuel, probably with like direct injection. Then you could turn the injectors off for the ones that you're not really using. I'm not sure if it's going to wear and tear the vehicle as much. I don't have enough information on that, but this is another technology that can be activated in certain newer cars. I think they'll start eventually filtering down to more vehicles as they get the technology a little bit more refined. I know that I haven't seen them in any other vehicles other than maybe GM or Ford. But Ford's getting away from cars, and GM is going all in on EVs. So I don't know how soon that will end up happening. But let's see. Give me 1 second. I was searching for this last one. And content live. Bam. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So you got cylinder deactivation. Oh, I love this one. So a lot of people talk to me when I'm Uber driving and I'm driving EV, and some people want to say that hybrids are the better option now. Hybrids were the better option for the last 10 years. So if you haven't got on board hybrids yet, you might as well let it go now. That's just my opinion, because you're going to end up seeing the problem of driving a hybrid. And the problem with driving a hybrid is the system becomes more complicated, not less. And Toyota has been one of the bigger leaders in hybrid technologies. A lot of other manufacturers are starting to add them in, but the way that they need to be done, it's a it's kind of like the best of both worlds, but you suffer when one of them breaks. So you don't get a chance to really use your EV side if the gasoline stops working. And if the gasoline is still working and the EV side breaks, you really have a big paperweight. So that's how closely integrated that they end up working together. So it's kind of like it's best to just go ahead and go full EV in my professional experience. But let's see. BMW, Dodge, different other companies. Toyota pioneered the space more than anything. They have really pushed the envelope a lot more than everybody else has. That's from what I can tell. Let's see. So depending on where you stand at, if you're getting a plug-in hybrid, and this lady was talking to me last night about it, and I told her, said, you're gonna find that you're gonna be on battery a lot more due to the fact of how far you drive. And once you realize that, you're gonna be like, I might as well went full EV. Yes, you have that backup just in case of driving, and you have the gasoline engine as a generator. I think like Mazda is you doing the rotary engine. They're bringing the rotary back, baby. The rotary engine will not die, but they're using the rotary engine as a generator. So that's one. That's what I would call that more of a pure hybrid, because the rotary engine is not driving the wheels. It's full electric powertrain with a gasoline generator. That's would be the best way to do the hybrid systems. If you end up buying one or looking to get one, I would say something like that, where the gasoline engine is not linked directly to the wheels. Let's see, number 4, turbochargers. So a lot of these technologies are not brand new, but they're starting to filter in to the ethos of the technologies for said cars. So turbos and superchargers are not new technologies, but they're being more reliable to be able to put into a lot of these cars. I think that the technologies have grown, they've gotten better. You know, what is it? The EcoBoost engine for Ford utilizes turbos, which is always a good thing. That gives you better fuel economy, and also you can have a smaller engine. So instead of having like a big block V8 that's heavy, you can end up doing a 4-cylinder, or even go all the way down to a 3-cylinder engine, which, yes, that sounds crazy. Who would want to do that? But it gives you power and fuel economy at the same time. And that's kind of what people want. People want to have a little zip off the line. You every once in a while, you see that person who's chatting on their phone, not paying attention. You want to jump in front of them. I do that all the time. jump in front of them, get in front of them so I can make my turn. But let's see. What's another technology? Continuous variable transmissions. So CVTs. Now, if you know anything, if you ever had a vehicle that had a CVT transmission, they don't shift. Now, all CVTs are not made equally. So I am a Toyota fan, and Toyota takes great pain into making their CVTs as durable as possible. Nissan, no, not even close. Their CVTs were known for breaking all the time. So you got two different versions. A lot of people don't really like CVTs because they say they're not as durable as your traditional, 6-speed, 8-speed, 12-speed trans. But CVTs are very, very, very economical. I know that with Toyota, and I've had two Toyota that were EVs. I mean, not EVs, but hybrids that use CVTs in them. And power wise, all the torque was there. Let's see, performance wise and durability. Granted, I never really launched my vehicles like that. So durability wise, those transmissions were good. I mean, change the oil, the transmission oil in them on a regular basis. They last almost forever. They're just as reliable as some Toyota engines if you treat them right. But these are some of the other new ways to try to keep people into the gasoline realm. More CVTs means better fuel economy, which means guess what? People will stay on in gasoline vehicles longer. Direct fuel injection. So you got two different ways to feed gas into the engine. You can directly feed it in via a port at the top of the engine, more than likely right at the cam when the air intake's coming in, or you can throttle body it and mix the fuel and gas mixture before it goes into the cylinder head. Now, which one is going to give you best fuel economy? They say that direct fuel injection will give you better fuel economy. It makes the computer work better into managing said system. Don't you find it kind of funny? Computers making gas better. I mean, that's kind of a weird way of looking at it. But let's see. And with that, you can end up getting at least a 15% fuel gain. So if you start combining a lot of these different aspects together, you can end up getting a 30, 40 mile to the gallon vehicle if they start adding these things together. So we're talking about 15% fuel gain with direct fuel injection. You add turbo to that, some start stop technologies, you might be able to do some things. And also turning off cylinders, better fuel economy there. I haven't really seen any vehicles that actually do that of late, but I mean, all these technologies can go into a car. Variable valve timing, VVTs. Honda was very, very famous with coming out with this. They have a more updated version of this now, which is electronic. You can have variable valve timing or valve lengths, depending on how long you want to let the valve stay open. And they're not mechanically bound to the engine. So they're electronically separated from the performance of the engine, which would give a bigger performance boost also. So they could add those type of technology to gasoline vehicles too, on top of all the rest of the stuff that we've gone through. 8, 9, and 10-speed transmissions. Normally, you only see these in like big, heavy trucks, but they're starting to bring them down to the cars now, which I find that to be kind of surprising. So the cars taking advantage of more of a 10-speed trans is going to be a little bit weird. I mean, they're not going to be, the vehicles are not as heavy, but it does open up the fact that you can get up getting more fuel economy, finding the more perfect gear to be in for the right situation. You know, let's say you're on a hill going up, coming down, different things give you better fuel economy depending on. But then you also have CVTs, so it's kind of like which one is better. That's number 8. Dual clutch transmissions. So we're talking about faster shifting, microseconds. You know, that gives you better fuel economy by being able to shift into the right gear faster. And they're talking about an overall 6% on average. I don't know much about dual clutches, but as I know that normally you end up seeing in more exotic vehicles. You know, I would say your Audis, your BMWs, Mercedes might have those technologies already in them. Oh, and it gives you millisecond shifts. So right here, changing of gears. And number 10, ECU remapping software. Sometimes just improve the computer that's already inside of your vehicle. So you can, depending on your ECUs, some of them are reprogrammable. I know that aftermarket do ECUs that you could program yourself, changing the map curve of the fuel, better fuel economy, more performance. So maybe you end up having a certain ECU profile on your vehicle that gives you better fuel economy. But when you're ready to race, you know, you might have a trigger that says, hey, use this map to give me better, you know, racing abilities. But that is the car side of the technology. All right. And that's now it is my cellular side. So I normally talk about cellular because primarily a lot of my YouTube channel revolves around cellular. I am a tech nerd first. I deal in cellular. I network test, and I feel like it's my due diligence to help people out. So first story on the bat, after coming back from a week hiatus, T-Mobile goes and lose all of my data. Again. Yay. All right, so Reuters reports this one. Come here. So Reuters goes and reports this one. I was not naive to this one, and I don't know if anybody else was. So if you've kind of been living on me for both Verizon and AT&T, also got hacked within the last, I'd say, 60 to 90 days. And I know for a fact T-Mobile was somewhere in there. There was no way in the world I was going to sit here and think that they found a new way of not being bothered by what was going on. It was very rare when you hear that Verizon and AT&T got bothered and taken advantage of. It's almost commonplace to know that T-Mobile was right behind them. So The best thing I tell people to do when it comes to certain things like this, where your data is involved, is to change your passwords, uh, come up with a new password scheme, or you change your passwords in your password vault. That way, people can't get into your vault. Also, don't reuse passwords, please. There's not much you can do. These companies have your data. I mean, they fight just to be able to sell your data. So the fact that somebody got a hold of it and wants to try to do nefarious acts with it, I'm not 100% surprised. It's just, we all know that T-Mobile hasn't been very uh, doing the due diligence to protect their network as Verizon and AT&T has. So if we end up hearing that the two major ones who's been in the game a lot longer fail, I'm automatically going to assume that the third one, being T-Mobile, failed also. And that's just me not being naive to that fact. But that is the hacker version of the news. That's not the good news. Space side. I love this one. So the space race is heating up. So AST Space Mobile to test cellular satellites with 2K AT&T Verizon devices. Now, if you've been underneath a rock for a while, basically you got two companies and three cellular providers trying to provide cellular connectivity from space. We're trying to kill all dead spots here, and this is one way of doing it. AST being one of the two companies is actively working in this space. No pun intended. Sorry. But they are working with a new FCC filing they've just deployed like I think 5 of their new Bluebird satellites to beam cellular connectivity for emergency responders. So earlier, I would say within the last maybe 2 or 3 months, T-Mobile and SpaceX got granted emergency use because of the hurricanes that came through. They're saying that their system is providing connectivity for people and is working very well. I'm going to presume that AST's service is going to work just as well. Granted, they're using a lower end of the spectrum to do theirs, which gives them a higher chance of reliability and less interference. T-Mobile is using Band 2 PCS to provide services, but I think that SpaceX satellites have a tendency to be closer to Earth than AST satellite is going to end up being. But they don't give a lot of technical review for you to really find out how many miles they're going to be operating at. It's just I kind of just understood it that way due to the fact that SpaceX has been filing new files to try to get their satellites to be closer to Earth, but still be in space within like a couple of 100 miles. I'm going to presume that AST is probably going to try to operate within that same parameters, but their overarching coverage is going to be wider with less satellites due to the fact that they're working with these, I think this, what is it? It's not the 600 band. I think it's a 700 band. I'm not 100% sure. I got to go back and look. I'm not sure which band they're using off the top of my head. I don't think in this article it said. They just talk about how big the cell beam is going to be for coverage, like 24 kilometers wide radius with a diameter of 48 kilometers. So I think that beam is going to be pretty big. But they want to launch another 60 satellites, but they got to wait for FCC approval. This is going to take some time, but the space race for cellular is starting to heat up. I haven't really received any information of yet when it is T-Mobile going to be able to operate with SpaceX in the PCS range, and will they get that exemption for outside the cell coverage power restriction that they were kind of put on hold for? That I haven't seen any information about that of just yet, but I will keep you updated. I'm still following that myself. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I wish I kind of was able to test out some of this, but all the areas that they're doing that testing, I don't live in, so I gotta kind of wait until it comes around to my neck of the woods. All right. Now, this one I've been paying attention to a lot more. A lot of people might not know what your cell phone can actually do. And there's a new technology that's been a brewing in the background, and T-Mobile is testing it out. So it says here from T-Mobile News, T-Mobile breaks world record for upload speed. Now, heavy uplink on NR dual connectivity. So if you've kind of been a novice at this, there's some YouTube seminars on YouTube that explains what dual connectivity is. I can give you the long and short of it, or some people like to call the TLDR of what dual connectivity is. Basically, what it's doing is it utilizes cell sites that are not active or as not being heavily used in the capacity wise of the network. So I think that in this one they went to SoFi Stadium. So this is like SoFi Stadium in California is probably like a perfect example of what you can see from dual connectivity. And you're going to have a lot of cell antennas, dash systems in the vicinity of a lot of people. Maybe even some of them are not going to be utilized as much. So if you have certain ones inside the stadium that are not being utilized, you can actually bring them into the network through, they all run kind of like what they call CRAN, centralized RAN. And it allows for the primary cell that your phone connects to basically say, I see all the resources in this stadium. Let me use it. And your phone utilizes all the whole network that's available to it. And that's kind of what it's doing. So if you got let's say there's a cell site that's 100 yards from you, maybe your phone doesn't want to talk to it or link to it, but everybody else around you is crowding it. It will see that you need access and will have you link to the one that's across the way for better connectivity. And it kind of gives them faster network management resources. And that's kind of what they're showing when it comes to the 2.2 gigs of upload. So they're utilizing all the resources of the whole network at one time to provide access. And you can do that on the downlink and uplink. So it's not just uplink only, it's more along the lines of resource sharing over a larger area. It basically 5G, instead of you always only talking to one cell site, your phone talks to the whole network. That's what dual connectivity is. It makes your phone basically look at the whole network as a whole, not an individual cell site to cell site handoff. And that's one of the biggest differences, because you might have heard of, carrier aggregation, and that's still your phone talking to one cell site only. But this is your phone talks to the whole network through that one connection you have, which is your primary band. If you ever looked at any of my YouTube videos, I primarily only show the connecting cell site, especially when T-Mobile does standalone, is because that's the one that talks to everybody else. So when it's connected to N41, the N41 is the primary and everything else is secondary. And that's what dual connectivity does. It changes the way the network actually interacts with everybody's phone. Let's see. Let's see. AT&T. Some good news about AT&T. Pull this up. AT&T decides to get into the grab bag of U.S. Cellular. So I think that this deal is going to go through. I don't think that it's going to run into any problems, because now all three carriers are nipping and pulling meat off the bone. T-Mobile got the biggest chunk of it. Verizon now, AT&T is grabbing some more. So if you are a U.S. Cellular customer, you will soon be a T-Mobile customer soon. Let's see, go into some of the details of it. U.S. Cellular is making a deal with AT&T of about $1 billion also. I think they're going to end up getting the 700 megahertz chunk in the areas that they operate in. So the 700 and the 3.45, which is DoD. So U.S. Cellular is trying to get out of that business. I've mentioned this before in another video where I think that they're going full on. I think that they're going full on cell tower provider and providing cell sites for the three major carriers. That's why I think that direction that they're planning on going in. So it's going to be interesting to see what they're planning on doing. All right. So that's the updated information on the U.S. Cellular venture. If you were kind of invested in it and curious about it, I know I've had some people reach out to me privately and ask me about it. So this is just me updating everybody about what's going on. Let's see. This is a conversation a bigger conversation I've been wanting to have with people. So let's cue this one up. All right, so it's about time carriers ditch data caps on unlimited plans. And I am in full agreement of that. Now, the reason why it doesn't make sense that you say unlimited, but it's not really unlimited. If you don't want me to use data on your services, then don't offer as big of a data pool to me in the beginning. That means that you're kind of bait and switching. Right now, the way that it's set up, if you have a cell phone service, I have all three of the major carriers. I don't have Dish because they still ride on AT&T in certain places. So I haven't got around to testing them just yet. But with T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, they all kind of deploy for their main services a unlimited plan. Now, depending on how much you're paying, is how much data bucket you're going to have access to. So I think Verizon is a little bit more stricter than all the rest of them. What is it? Up to about 100 gigs, maybe a little bit more. Depends on if they think that you're going to be abusing the network. I've been on T-Mobile. I've used a lot of data. I've had over a terabyte in certain instances. By the sheer happenstance of me spending a lot of time in my car, I spend a lot of time away from home. So therefore, I use a lot of data. I operate my YouTube channel from my cell phone. I do a lot of uploads of videos, so I use a lot of data. And I'm on Magenta Max, but they don't offer that service anymore. But it's supposed to be no throttle, and I haven't been throttled at all yet. But the problem is, what about other services? AT&T, I haven't run up against their data cap as much, but they do offer a high tier data offering, and I do have that for my testing also. And I haven't run up against that at all yet. But you do run into those problems as you go into the lower offerings like MVNOs. Why is McDonald's on my screen? But you do end up running into these problems. And like it says here, these carriers need to ditch data caps on unlimited plans. I think that it's kind of like false advertising in a way. If you don't want me to use data, you want me to pay more, then you offer better services. That's kind of how I stand at with this. It's deceptive advertising that you let go. Hey, and I hate to say it, even Ryan Reynolds, being such a great guy, came up with Mint Mobile. He's doing it. Premium data for $15. Premium data for $15. Yes, up to about 30 gigs, and then bam, you're down to 512 kilobits per second. And I've done videos on that. It's great data until you hit that cap. And when you hit it, they throttle you hard. So I have videos showing that throttle. You go along, you're doing pretty good. You got video. Your video is capped too. So you're getting like 480p video. And then once you hit that threshold, you go from, 20, 30 megabits per second down to 512 kilobits. And for those that don't understand, we're talking about 0.5 megs per second. You go from 20 megs to 0.5. So it's kind of a very hard hit. Oh, hello.
What's going on, you dirty, rotten scoundrel?
Oh, no, not the dirty, rotten, and scoundrel. What's going on, sir?
You ain't answered your phone all day, brother.
Oh, man, I've been working.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you are a family man. I am soon trying to be a family man, and my honey-do list was long. That honey-do list was long, and I've been putting it off for too long.
I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say.
Don't say it. How about that? Don't say that. What's going on, sir?
Nothing much, brother. I'm in album mode, as you know.
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm calling you pertaining to album mode issues, but we'll talk about them.
What?
We'll talk about that.
Oh, okay. Hey, look. The article I'm on right now is basically ditching the data caps on unlimited plans. Where do you stand on this, sir?
It doesn't matter.
Only
a bunch of people who just want to speed test all day care. No one else cares.
What do you mean? Look, I think that there's a lot of people that inherently do use a lot of data. without
500
speed testing.
gigs is more than you should ever need on your mobile data plan, bro.
I don't know, man. When I was watching
Here you
that
go,
fight last night, I racked up some data.
bruh. Even if you watch that fight in 4K, you wouldn't touch 500 gigs in a week. What are you talking about? You tripping. People, we don't know. I mean, data caps are not even real. Let's just be real, right? The only plans that data caps are real in are plans with hard data caps. Plans that when you hit 30 gigs, you get throttled, or plans when you hit 20 gigs, you get throttled. But the 50 gig and up club is good enough for 99.999% of all Americans.
Oh, not the
And
50 gig and up club.
yeah, because most people don't use more than 20 to begin with. And anybody using more than 70 is probably just doing random crap for the heck of saying they did it. Not
That's
because they
true.
actually need that data. If you don't speed test and you only watch your YouTube, and you even if you watch it in 1080, if you only watching YouTube and you're only using your social media apps, you are not going to be blowing past 500 gigs of data, bro. It's not happening. Network abusers are the only people that are crying about 500 gig data caps, bro.
Oh,
Ridiculous.
and look, I mean, I use my data because I make videos and I upload the videos when I'm in the field, and I
Still ain't
hit
doing
like
500 gigs. You still ain't doing five. I would argue you don't got 500 gigs of data on your whole YouTube channel, sir.
what?
Want to bet?
I have not checked, so I will not make that bet with you, sir.
I would bet that you don't even got 500 gigs of content on your channel, and you talk about needing that more than that every month.
I don't know. I might have that. I do have up to like 500, almost less than 500 videos, man. I'm
Bro,
like
check this out.
460.
You need 160 hours to hit 500 gigs at 1080p.
160 hours?
Yes.
Okay, so I do shoot my videos in 4K.
I said every month, sir.
Oh,
You telling me you uploading 160 hours of video content in a month?
no. I don't do it in a month.
You ain't doing
No.
that in 6 months, my G. I'm just saying that's why this
If I
is
was
crazy.
turning out that much content, I'll be beyond
I'm
monetized
just
right now.
saying this is why this is a real relevant. People crying about data caps are just bored and they want to speed test nonstop and they need to go get a life or a girl or both.
Well, look, I genuinely do believe that there's people who actually do use theirs, and they're going to
But
go
I
to these.
get it.
They're going to go to
Get
these
it.
cheaper offerings like Mint Mobile and US Mobile and different
But,
other ones. But then they're going to
yeah,
they're going to run into those caps.
but that's their problem. You don't change 100% of the market for 1% of the user base, sir.
I understand that.
If 1% of user base wants uncapped, let them pay for it. The rest of us don't want our rate hiked because you want to be dumb. And I ain't saying you, I'm saying the people who think that, because guess what? Them data caps going away ain't going to come for free. It's going to come at the cost of all of us paying more, which is why I'm not for it.
Oh, but here's the
So,
thing. But dropping you all the way down to 512 kilobits, man, is
you
it that
chose that plan.
necessary?
Once again, if you want more than 500 gigs of data, you need to have a premium plan that's not going to do that, sir.
That's true.
You want premium stuff, but don't want to pay for it. Make it make sense.
I feel you.
If you
I
need
mean,
more than
look,
500 gigs every
that
month for
data
your
wall.
regular use, not speed testing, you are the problem, not the carrier.
And look, that data wall hit. Look, you be going along there, and then all of a sudden you hit that wall. That is a hard wall, especially if you got a couple of days left.
That's
And
once
you hit that
again,
wall,
if you sign up for a 30 gig plan, that's your problem.
man.
You signed up for the plan.
That's true. That's
I
true.
signed up for a plan that gives me 100 gigs of priority. Your 30 gig plan ain't my problem.
He said, "That's your problem, not mine."
You signed up for it. I mean, that's
That,
what I'm saying. That this is a null and void argument. Anybody that wants more data, sign up for premium plans. Stop trying to go to prepaid. If your wallet can't back up what you want, then you need to either make more money or be smarter with the money you got. It's one or the other.
Look, man, you got to be smart with what you got.
Everybody can't have everything, Keon.
All right, look. I'm not necessarily saying that everybody should get everything they want. I'm just saying that
You
it does
saying people
seem
should
kind of.
sign up
It
for a
does seem
$45 plan and have truly unlimited data with no caps. That's what you're telling me.
no. It does seem to be kind of a deceptive practice, though.
By who? Only people
By
lying
the
is the
carrier.
people. No, people lying to themselves. Stop blaming people's ignorance on the carrier, bro.
Oh,
Just because you ignorant don't make me victimizing you. You the one ignorant. You signed up
man.
for a plan with a 30 gig cap, and now you crying about you hitting the cap. You signed up for it. How was that misconception? If I tell you 30 gig priority, I meant what I said. I didn't kind of mean it. That's like these people. Just like these people. I ain't gonna say it. I ain't gonna do it.
Don't
I ain't
say
gonna
it.
do
Don't
it.
say it. Don't say
Nope.
it.
I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Don't say it to
I'll
him.
say it off the air, and you're gonna understand the analogy immediately when I say it.
I probably will.
You signed up for it. Now take it. You don't like it, sign up for something else. But don't say you got so what? They say unlimited. All unlimited means is that you don't stop getting data 100%. Unlimited does not mean full speed. It doesn't say unlimited speed, does it? Does it?
No.
It says unlimited data. It don't say unlimited speed. So they didn't lie. They didn't say how fast that data had to be, did they?
No, they did not.
They just said unlimited data. So they're not lying when they say unlimited data. If you don't know the difference between the words data and speed, then you're an idiot.
Oh man, look,
So anybody
you
who
might
signs up for an
there's a
unlimited
lot of people
plan
that you know there's a
and
lot of people that
argues,
don't know the difference.
well, that's their problem. Even the Bible said ignorance is a sin.
Look, man, we supposed to help educate them. That's what we work. That's what I'm working towards.
Well,
I'm
then
trying to
stop trying
help
to make excuses
educate.
for their stupidity and educate them instead of making excuses for their stupidity.
No, not making excuses for
You
them.
just said the carrier is
Letting them
misleading
know.
them. The carrier didn't mislead them. The carrier said unlimited. They didn't say unlimited speed.
Look. For you know how they did it in the cable industry too. You know they sold you on speed, but really, you can live on 300 megabits per second.
Hey,
But
but guess
guess
what?
what?
See, now you're talking about something that is true and has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, I look at it
See,
as the same in the same vein.
you just took an actual lie and then try to compare it to something that's not a lie. The cable companies and the fiber companies are lying. The carriers are not. Big difference.
Look, man, people's perception of the world is different than what actually reality is. Nobody tells them what reality is.
It's your job to educate yourself. It ain't nobody's job to do it for you.
Look, man, I'm trying to help others too.
No, and that's okay. So Keon, them being here is them educating themselves. So once
That's
again,
true.
you're arguing a point that's not being argued. If the person's here, they are now the one educating said oneself. I'm talking about the idiots that aren't educating themselves, and then they get online and write out long articles about how they need to remove data caps, which just proves that you ain't educated. The fact that you just said that dumb crap. Like the person who wrote the article that thinks this is stupid, and they wanted to tell the whole world just how stupid they are.
Hey, look.
Hey, look at me. I'm stupid.
Oh man.
You know the person that goes, I'm with stupid. They need one of the arrow points back at their own head though. Whoever wrote that article.
Hey, look. I think that's like look. You know how it is in these industries, man. It's all about the likes and fake likes and digital hugs. That's what Kendrick's taught me, man. Fake likes and digital hugs.
Oh, that's about all the hugs this next generation is going to get in this world. I had to beat women off. They couldn't pull an anorexic girl in a tug of war. I don't understand it. They need to get their life together.
Good God.
I'm on a tirade this evening, sir.
I see.
I've been away and I'm back with fresh energy.
Oh man, look! Last night you were in Joan mode, man. You were striking everything down and coming in.
Hey! You know how I do, bro. I like zoning. Everybody can't take that pressure though.
Hey, look! I can take the pressure, but I can't give it back though. But no, man.
But nah, man. I feel like if you're a victim, of so-called misleading cellular sales. Sorry. Next. You've just been informed. Now, if you continue to be dumb, now the ball is into your court.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
I'm signing up for
gotta get
Boost
it out.
Mobile and complaining when you get Boost Mobile behavior.
Oh man, that's that Boost Mobile energy. Yo, speaking of
Where
Boost,
you at?
hey, look, speaking of Boost, man. Hey, your favorite CEO and mine's.
No, I do not like my former employer. Charlie Ergen. Negative.
Your favorite CEO.
I've seen pieces of wood I like better. Okay.
Oh, guess what? Direct TV says this purchase is off.
I saw this.
Oh man, when I saw this, I was like, oh no.
Doesn't shock me at all. It's right up Charlie's alley. This is the kind of stuff that it does. I don't know why you're so shocked.
Well, okay. The reason
Everything
why
Charlie touches fails, including mergers. What do you mean? Like, what do we do with that?
Well, look, I'm just updating everybody who, if you were paying attention to this space, basically DirecTV proposed an acquisition of Dish assets for like $10 billion of debt and all whatever they had agreed upon. And now the bondholders are not agreeing to this. And, Charlie Ergen has to come back to the table to negotiate. And even here, CNBC says that it's probably unlikely that he's going to renegotiate.
Because that's what Charlie does. He fails.
Oh, man. How do you fail on a acquisition? Like, how does that happen? Even Yahoo.
This isn't his first failed one. It's not his first failed one. He failed to buy Sprint back in the day for the same reasons. I mean, what do you expect?
Look, even Yahoo managed to be sold to Verizon. Okay, like
yeah, but Charlie Ergen wasn't running it.
Oh Lord! So the deal could be salvaged if Dish chairman Charlie Ergen comes to the negotiating table, but that's currently appeared unlikely.
He's too dumb.
Man,
I worked. You got to understand. I worked for this man's company. I worked for this man back in
back in the day,
2000, 2010, 11, 12, 13, around that time. And I'm here to tell you, that was a shoddily run company. Everything in that building is shoddy.
Man,
very bad
shoddy.
Run company. Cheap company, petty company, unprofessional company. You name it.
You name it as a whole bunch of nothing.
Does not surprise me. A company run the way he runs it is always going to have problems. He runs that company like it is a flea market.
Wow.
They're cheap and they're petty. They put minimal effort into everything they do. And they wonder why they have They wonder why they've been second to DirecTV for, I don't know, 30 plus years. Because they ran a terrible ship. I also worked for DirecTV. I worked for DirecTV after Dish. And when I tell you day and night difference of professionalism, employee treatment, quality of business quality, the operation, totally different. Totally different. So
now,
does not
now what is it? They have until midnight of November 22nd to come to the table. Okay, or the everything's going to terminate. So I'm going off what you saying. You don't think that the stupid CEO is going to come back to the table?
Charlie has a history of just doing bad decisions.
I mean, now here's the thing: if they
you got to realize is this, right? Charlie wouldn't even be in this situation if he wasn't a cheap ass in the first place. He would have acquired Sprint the first time around, right? And we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now.
I don't know.
He could have acquired Sprint all the way back in freaking 2012.
That's true.
He didn't
I mean,
want
they
to
were
pay.
right. They were
He
right
didn't
for the
want to pay.
picking.
He didn't want to pay up, so he got nothing. He's cheap.
You know what? Here's the thing. He probably didn't have nothing to offer.
That's not true. He had it back then. Satellite was still booming because the lack of cable being built and streaming wasn't really a thing yet.
But here's the
Streaming was
thing.
barely a thing at this time. You got to realize that at this time, the only thing even being streamed was like Netflix and like Blockbuster freaking rentals. Like the whole world was different. You got to understand. The satellite market had literally had triple the customer base they have now. They had the money.
That's true.
They didn't want to spend the money, and you know what the acquisition cost was? If I'm not mistaken, it was $9 billion. They
What?
spent more than that. They spent more than that on satellite launches, sir.
No.
That's what I'm trying to tell
He
you.
didn't want to pay $9 billion for Sprint at that time.
No. At that time, nope.
Wow, does that? You know what? That makes the acquisition. That makes that
mistaken,
merger
let me
between
go back
T-Mobile
and
and
look at
Sprint
it.
look crazy.
Let me go look at it again. If I remember correctly, he didn't want to pay what Sprint was trying to get.
Yo, that makes the acquisition between T-Mobile and Sprint at $26 billion look nuts.
My point exact, but you got to realize inflation's a thing.
True.
So the price only goes up with time, baby.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, $9 billion.
It was much less way back in the day. That's my point.
Yo, hold on. When AT&T bought DirecTV, it was like $30 billion, wasn't it?
I believe the whole deal would have been like $9 billion cash and then some other amount in like debt. It would have been a total of like 20-something billion, but it was like $9 billion cash and then some debt. And Charlie he failed to actually make a full offer. He failed to do it. You got to realize you might look back and say, oh, well, maybe he shouldn't have done it. But you got to look at how much it's going to cost him now to try to build a network out of nothing.
Yes. Oh,
He would have
beyond
been
that,
better
yes.
off just biting that bullet. And that's my point. And at least at that time, he had a satellite customer base that have enough income to climb back out of that hole. He doesn't have that anymore, which is why he's now trying to.
No. It's already dying. Look, my first what is it? My first story was talking about Netflix and how some people were saying it was a failure. I think it was a resounding success. And then like the cable companies are starting to suffer. So I mean, if the cable companies are suffering, the satellite companies are suffering.
My point is, this should have just went all in way back then, seen the writing on the wall, and just went full for it. Sacrifice then, and it would have been in a way better position than they are right now because they would have had a stronghold in the wireless market right now with their holdings plus the holdings of Sprint.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been in a way better position than they are trying to start from zero now, which is why they're floundering. They're just floundering right now.
Yo, that's crazy talk.
Let's look at this. This article is from 2013. It looks like this question by Sprint has gone for naught. According to Bloomberg, the third largest U.S. carrier has cut off talks with the satellite company. Among other issues, both sides failed to agree on a breakup fee that would award Sprint, if the deal fell through, $3 billion. Dish was only willing to put up $1 billion. See, Charlie being cheap about it. Says Sprint originally formed this dedicated committee to analyze this proposal. It says, but in weeks recently, on the SoftBank side, the U.S. Department approved the takeover bid. SoftBank sends up this offer. So SoftBank was also bidding on it, by the way. Basically,
that was around about the time SoftBank got into it.
Exactly.
Wow.
This could have already bought out Sprint. That means T-Mobile would have never got them, and Dish would have been in a position of. Think about this: we might have been in a world where Dish buys T-Mobile instead of T-Mobile buying Sprint.
That's true. But
Charlie didn't have the foresight to just put up.
But you know what? Because what was it? SoftBank wasn't trying to invest more than they needed to. They I mean, Sprint had already went down the wrong road with WiMAX, and that set them back years.
You gotta realize, if I'm not mistaken, WiMAX was still a thing in 2013.
It was. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this could have easily could have stopped it and like, wait a minute, let's stop
Right.
before it got as bad as it did. So that's what I'm saying. They made a lot of bad decisions, man. They should have.
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because Sprint didn't stop. Sprint didn't even begin to shut down WiMAX till 2015. Just could have bought them in 2013 and turned the vehicle around and probably saved some money.
That's true.
That's what I'm talking about. They wasted 2 years of network building on WiMAX that this may have, if led properly, may have been able to turn around earlier. And so, but that just goes back. Just goes back to, like I said, history repeats itself, and Charlie is in a worse position than he would have been if he would have been willing to negotiate properly instead of trying to cheap his way out of everything, which is, that's just how he operates, man.
Dang, man, that's crazy.
Everything he touches is gonna fail.
Even a broke clock is right twice a day, man. I ain't seen nothing this man touch work. I ain't seen nothing he does work yet. Look, I was like, oh, he finally sold it off. He finally got what he wanted, and he still messed that up. Like, how do you mess up something you've been pursuing for so long? Like, you've been trying to get this shotgun marriage going for a long time.
The Charlie way, my friend.
Oh, hey, sir, thank you for stopping by, man. That's my last story. I want to say thank y'all. Thank you for everybody stopping by on the radio. Thank you for coming through. Thank you for coming through. Remember, one of the best ways to contact the channel and with your favorite stories is through the dumpster fire called X. I do get those notifications, unfortunately.
You mean the state-run media called X?
Oh Lord,
that's what it is.
No, it's a hot dumpster fire.
So it's the official state-run media now.
Oh crap!
You got, if a government official owns it, what you think?
Oh, here we go.
A future government official now owns it. Just think about it.
That's true. But if you want to have an article pulled up for something that everybody has a different quirk. I talked about engine technologies. I don't know if you heard that one. I brought up some engine technology, ICE vehicle technologies. No radio.
Yeah, ICE is the future.
See, you gonna make me curse. You gonna make me curse, boy. I'm not gonna do that.
ICE is the future, sir.
I'm not gonna do that.
Not the past. It's the future, big dog.
It's a point of contention between me and you.
It's a point of contention between you and the law of science.
Posh.
Stuff gets replaced with better stuff, not worse stuff. So until there's something, ICE is the future.
Oh, hey, look, always moving forward. Always move forward, man.
Oh yeah, I'm down to move forward. I just realized that it's going to mean a whole lot more ICE renditions of different types for a while until something else is better.
That's true.
We're going to get some new versions of some ICE stuff for a few years while we figure out some stuff out. That's why I say future. I mean, tomorrow's the future. I didn't say 30 years from now. I said future.
That's true. How far in the future are we talking?
Yeah, 20 years.
Oh.
You got 20 more years before the engine is the worst option.
Man.
Before it's the worst option. You got 20 more years.
And the polar ice caps will melt by then.
Who cares? Nobody cares. You ain't trying to live down this country. Didn't you just see how
Florida's it's not gonna be a peninsula, it's gonna be an island.
They don't care. They want to drown. Come on, man. They like water. Why do they live there? They like water.
They're gonna have ocean barrier around Miami in 20 more years. It's gonna be under sea level at that rate.
They like water. Can we get more? Can I have it in my living room, please?
But yo, hey, remember, people, if you got something you want to talk or want us to talk about, me or my compadre here that likes to come in and hit me over the head with all the news that
Oh,
I
I just
bring
like
up.
light stuff on fire, y'all. Don't take me too serious.
Oh, on fire! He walks around with a flamethrower.
No, I know, but Biden did approve me to use my long range weapons now. So we
Oh,
in there. We in there. You know what I'm saying?
oh, hey, go big or go home. Right now, he's going home, so he letting him go big. I ain't got to deal with this mess no more. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye, Felicia.
I got approved, baby, dog. I'm about to be shooting threes, baby. Threes.
Oh, man.
Baby. Off the wrong foot.
Oh, no. Bye, Felicia. But yo, that's one
Literally.
of the two.
Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, hey, one of the other ways is to join the membership, and or Patreon. I'm growing that steadily and slowly. So I want to say thank y'all for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It was greatly appreciated, and thank y'all for your support. And y'all have a good one.